In December 2024, a shocking murder rocked Manhattan. UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down outside a midtown hotel, and the man accused of pulling the trigger is Luigi Mangione. But this case is about much more than just one killing. It has now become a battle over politics, media influence, constitutional rights, and the ultimate punishment, the death penalty. Today, we're breaking down what happened, what the prosecution is pushing for, and why Mangione's defense says this is not a fair fight. On December 4, 2024, Brian Thompson was fatally shot outside a hotel where he was attending a UnitedHealthcare investor conference. Prosecutors allege that Luigi Mangione stalked Thompson, tracked his movements, and then opened fire with a 9mm pistol. After the shooting, Mangione fled the scene and sparked a multi-state manhunt. He was eventually arrested in Pennsylvania, brought back to New York, and charged under both state and federal law. At the state level, Mangione faces second-degree murder and weapons charges. Initially, New York prosecutors also charged him under terrorism laws, but a judge dismissed those terrorism counts earlier this month, ruling that the evidence didn't meet the legal standard. At the federal level, however, the stakes are even higher. Mangione faces 4 federal charges, including interstate stalking and using a firearm to commit murder. One of these counts makes him eligible for the death penalty. And on April 1, 2025, Attorney General Pam Bondi officially directed prosecutors to pursue capital punishment in this case. The defense's argument: Mangione has pleaded not guilty, and his defense team is fighting hard to block the death penalty. They argue that the government's handling of this case has violated his constitutional rights. First, they claim that the case has been politicized, pointing to strong public statements from government officials that they say taint the presumption of innocence. Second, they highlight what they call a perp walk, where Mangione was shackled and flown in by helicopter for the cameras. The defense says this was unnecessary and staged purely for spectacle, undermining his dignity and prejudicing public opinion. Third, they're invoking the Fifth and Sixth Amendments, arguing that his right to due process, a fair grand jury, and an impartial trial have all been compromised. Finally, they point to the dismissal of the terrorism charges as proof that prosecutors overreached and tried to stretch the law beyond its limits. Prosecution's position. Prosecutors, on the other hand, argue that this was a cold-blooded, premeditated assassination. They say Mangione carefully planned and carried out the killing, and that the death penalty is justified under federal law. Attorney General Bondi has described the murder as an attack not just on one man, but on a figure at the center of America's healthcare industry. The federal government can, and will. Where things stand now, as of mid-September 2025, the terrorism charges in New York are gone, but the core state murder charge remains. At the federal level, motions are pending on whether the death penalty will stay on the table. The next hearings are scheduled for December. On December 1st, Mangione is due back in state court, and on December 5th, he'll appear in federal court, where the judge will consider his team's motions to block a death penalty. Bigger questions. This case raises enormous legal and political questions. Can a fair trial truly happen after so much media attention? Was the decision to seek the death penalty influenced by politics? And what does it mean when a state that bans the death penalty must stand aside while the federal government pushes for it? Conclusion. The trial of Luigi Mangione isn't just about justice for one killing. It's also a test of America's legal system, whether it can uphold constitutional protections, or whether political pressure and public spectacle will dictate the outcome. So what do you think? Should the death penalty even be an option in this case, or has the process already been too compromised for justice to be fair? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest legal battles shaping America today.